Hello everybody and welcome back to the HTAaB YouTube channel, where today you find me with a bit of a different setup today. Yes, we're here on Google. That's different for the channel, isn't it? And on this particular Google tab on the 3rd of July already, 2025, you find me here with Ember's website in front of me. And that can only mean one thing. Because a few weeks back, or like a couple of weeks ago at the time of recording, Ember made their first appearances in Caithness, and I made a brief video about it, just explaining what they're doing, my thoughts, my predictions on what is going to be occurring with the company, and what the actual route would be like. Some of the stuff I said was true, the majority of it wasn't, but now we're in possession of the full fact, as 20 hours ago from the time of recording, here on Facebook, Ember posted a, update basically regarding the new route, which is in fact the E6 service. So what they said, new route time. Next up, Ember are launching the E6 route connecting Inverness to Northerly. We'll be launching the E6 on Wednesday the 9th of July, which at the time of recording is a week from now, with stops in Dingwall, Tain, Brora, Dunbeath, Wick and Scrabster. The route will begin with 4 return services per day, so that's already one more than the X99, which currently runs, operated by Stagecoach, and they'll be adding more stops to the route soon. It's just £14.70 for an adult single, except you can't buy returns on it, so they're marketing themselves as being cheaper, even though if you buy 2 singles, obviously there and back, it works at the same price as Stagecoach as return anyway, which is about 30 quid. So yeah, they've just sort of advertised it as cheaper, but then again it's not, but whatever. And if you book online, obviously it's all booked online, you can't just rock up on the day and say, oh, I'll go to Inverness please. You can book 10 minutes in advance or 3 weeks before, and it will all be the same price. So if you'd like to be among the first to try this route here, the tickets are on sale now at https://www.ember.to/, which obviously is their website, seen right in front of us here. So with that said, let's hop straight into their website and see what the plan is. So here's their website. Quite modern, quite sleek, as you can see, just like this. And they're advertising a fast, comfortable travel by electric bus. Fast, comfortable travel by electric bus, not a fast travel, that makes no sense. And here it says frequent services between Dundee, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Stirling, Kinross, Fort William, Inverness, and more. And that more is here. The new services underneath that, with Northerly to Inverness launching on the 9th of July 2025. So then, if we click on this, basically everything on Facebook is written here, and I've already covered that, so when it's launching, how much it's going to cost, and what the actual route is. But speaking of what the route actually is, there's a live map, and I really like this, because you can just see, well, basically where the route is going to take you. So here's quite a nice looking map of Scotland, and there is a search bar just underneath where the webcam thing is here. But as you can see here, we've got some coaches, so if you click on them, you can see exactly where they're going. This is the E7 route between Inverness and Aberdeen, and as you can see here, they're covering quite a lot of Scotland. Obviously now with the new route up north, we've got Inverness, Aberdeen, down this coast here to Stirling and Perth, and obviously up to Fort William, down to Glasgow, and across to Edinburgh down there. So yeah, there's only a little bit missing really. We've got this section here, which will probably be coming in due course anyway, with their depot in Inverness now open. And this area down here heading down into Newcastle and Carlisle. So then, with that said, the E6 route, I actually predicted it would be called that because it's in between the E5 and E7, which are already existing services, so that fills in the gap quite nicely. So we'll start at the Inverness end and head north. So Inverness, they're leaving from, if the map's not glitching out, they leave from Union Street in the centre of the city, and they head after that up the A9 towards Dingwall, after coming off at Tor Roundabout, which is just here, into Dingwall, where they would stop at the Tesco. Then they go up here, going back onto the A9 after the Cromarty Bridge, head straight up, have a quick stop in Tain Asda, I believe, straight across the Dornoch Bridge. Dornoch's not been announced yet, but they might be stopping there in the future, who knows. head straight up, and according to this, the next stop is Ember, which is outside the railway station, just there. Then there isn't any stops in Helmsdale, but again, they might be announced in the future, because surely people from here will be wanting to go to Inverness, and it's quite a touristy and populated place in the grand scheme of things. After that, Dunbee's the next stop. They just stop on the main road there, and I've actually seen one of their coaches on driver training already. And making their way further north, they don't go up the A9 to Thurso, they continue on the A99 like the X99. And when they get to Wick, as opposed to going to the bus terminal, they just go left. Just at like the junction for Thurso Street, for no apparent reason. So, I don't like this. That's just my opinion. Yours might be different. If you have any thoughts, let me know in the description box below. But my opinion is this. Why on earth do they just stop at Co-op? Like, a stop here, which I've been to on the channel before, doesn't have shelters, doesn't have timetables, doesn't have any information, and it's quite, well, out of the way. It's like, well, the town and actual bus terminal and stuff is down here. You have to walk up here, and if it's raining, and if it's cold, which it most likely will be because it's Wick, you're just going to be stood there in the pouring rain and cold waiting for your coach. And it's going to be an absolute nightmare because this road's not big, it's not made for, like, well, express intercity coach services to go down. That's what the purpose-built bus stop and terminal is for, where I'm circling right now at the Norseman Hotel. Out of the way, not on the road, and convenient in the town centre. So what difference would it make, even if the bus came from Thurso, went down here, circled quickly into the bus terminal, and went back out and straight down the main road? Like, what difference would that make? Literally, like, what, 5 or 10 minutes, depending on traffic. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. It might change in the future. I don't know. Anything could happen. But with that said, after Wick, it continues on down Thurso Road. Unlike the X99, which, if I just zoom out, goes up past Lockshell and the airport here, and up through Reese and Castletown. Oops, see, that was almost an accident waiting to happen. It continues up here, Halkirk, and into Thurso, where it does stop at the, yes, Ulrich Street and Santander stops here, just like that. And a couple of services go up to Scrabster, stopping here on the A9. And finally at Scrabster, not at the ferry terminal pier, but at the stop just before it, which is the old terminus of the X98 and X99 service. Anyways, so yeah, very interesting to see. If I just, this is going to be awkward, very professional indeed. I'll just move you over here, because for some reason I've just put that completely in the way, but that's fine, whatever. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got to say from the Ember sort of website so far. That's all the information they've put up, which is well enough to sort of, well, be able to get on the bus and not. But there's one thing I would like to try, and that is in fact booking some tickets. So obviously I'm not going to actually book them, but if I just go back here, what I'm going to do is show you the tickets and how easy or difficult it is, because I've never actually tried this before, so I think it's quite interesting indeed to sort of give it a go, if you will. Right, so let's go with right, in fact, can we just type? So we'll just go with Wick. Yep, Wick Co-op from 9th of July to Inverness City Centre. So obviously they're just offering single tickets, so that's the first day of trip. I won't be travelling on the inaugural sort of run, if you will, because I'm actually busy and I'm camping, so yeah, very exciting. Anyway, here's something that I would like to address. So, it doesn't specify the Young Scot card sort of, well, way of booking. Obviously, under 22s and over 60s in Scotland get free bus travel if they have one of the cards. If not, then, well, basically you're stuffed. On here, it's actually quite complicated because it says here, so, adults over 18, yeah? That's just people over the age of 18 who are paying. And then it says concessions, Scottish bus pass holder. I'm not a concession, I'm not an old person, am I? That makes no sense whatsoever. But I presume I just click that if I'm wanting to book with my Scot card, because, well, it doesn't specify, because, like, you think of like a concession, you think of someone who's elderly. Not me, I'm not elderly, but whatever. And then it says children 5 to 18 without a bus pass, so obviously they're going to be paying, but I'll try that in a minute and see how much it costs compared to the adult, which should be £14.70 single. But yeah, whatever. And then young children under 5 is there as well, so I presume Scottish Bus Pass holders covers the Young Scot thing. Presumes, but we'll find out in a second. So, if we search here, it says 9th of July, £0 and 0 pence, obviously because it's a concession. So what does it say? Change or cancel your ticket for free. That's good, you won't have to pay. Obviously, it's not paying for it anyway because you've got a card. Includes a large suitcase or 2 medium bags per person. Contact if you have more luggage. I presume they'll make you pay for more luggage, but obviously I wouldn't be taking like masses of luggage with me anyway if I was just going on a filming trip to try out the route. And, well, I've just noticed something. All of their buses here on the first day have 38 seats available. And some people have already started booking tickets. Look. 37 seats available on the first run, which is at 4:19 in the morning from Wick, quite early. And 35 seats available now on the 14:20 bus from Wick, which gets to Inverness at 5:30 in the evening. So yeah, interesting indeed. So I presume that covers the Young Scot card, but on the website, I'm just making this clear and pointing it out, not to slag them off, not to diss them or anything, but it's just not that obvious to a Young Scot card user, as it just says the word concession. Right, we'll give it a try with, well, an adult. Obviously we know what an adult is, it'll just be £14.70, so there's no point doing that. We'll try a child without a bus pass. How much does it cost? So it is £6.95 single to Inverness, which, to be honest, for what, close to 4 hours of bus travel, that's not bad. Not bad at all, but I don't know what these stagecoach fares actually are, so if I find out, in the meantime, I'm not looking now because it would just be awkward, I'll leave a link and a little comment in the description box below. What does it cost for someone who's like, well, a young child? Not that I'm a young child because I'm not under 5, but I'm just curious about sort of, wait, what? Select at least one passenger. I have. No. Oh, do I have to have like an adult with them? Wait. Oh, I do have to have an adult with them. Okay, that makes sense. So, yeah, we can't just figure out on its own, which is fine. How much do wheelchairs cost? So wheelchairs plus adult, so it'll be £14.70 plus the wheelchair. So, oh, it's actually cheaper if you book a wheelchair. So they knock like just under £1 off it, which I guess is fine, but it's still a little bit complicated. But whatever, anything goes, you know? It's not that bad. It's still not like cheaper than Stagecoach if you're an adult and you're trying to work it out as being cheaper. And it's not that clear about the NEC pass holders. But the final thing I'd like to cover, which isn't on the Ember website, is in fact on here, which is bustimes.org. Not Lewis Capaldi. I don't know why that advert's there. But if I just go onto here and search E6, it should come up. There are places in London. Here is the Ember route now between Inverness and Scrabster. So this will show us the whole timetable here. Obviously a bus service operated by Ember. Pretty obvious indeed with the turquoise looking number there. And there's some little tips here as well. Pre-book journey at least 10 minutes before the scheduled departure time, which is what they advertise on their website anyway. So with that said, here's a look at the timetable. And it's got some ups and downs, like most things really. Sort of, they've solved one thing, but then they've just added another spanner into the works with the next thing. But I'll just let you decide as I run through this. So there's obviously 4 trips a day, there and back from, well, Thurso or, well yeah, they all go to Scrabster, from Scrabster to Inverness, so yep, that's different to the X99 because only 1 trip a day goes to Scrabster on the X99 Monday to Friday. And let's see, so the first run from Scrabster leaves at 3:47 in the morning, which is, well, very early indeed, and gets to Inverness for 7:12, as you can see here. So that's very early. You can get to Inverness for, well, just after 7 in the morning, which compared to the X39, you can't get there until 10, and the train, you can't get there until 10:45. So that's already a step up for people who are travelling long distance and want to cover a lot of miles in one day. Or people who just want like a big long day out in Inverness, but I can't see many like locals getting up at 3:47 in the morning or 4:19 in Wick, but you never know. The next trip from Wick is then at 9:19, which I think is a little bit silly because that's just after the stagecoach one has left anyway, so they'll sort of be following each other. And that gets to Inverness at 13:03, which is actually after the X39 gets there, because that's meant to be 12:53, which leaves at 9:50 something. So yeah, I guess it still takes a longer time. Yeah, but then again it goes via Dingwall and stuff. But I don't know. Oopsie doopsie. To me, it makes no sense, but whatever. And then there's one at 13:44 from Scrabster, which obviously is at Wick at 14:20, so there's a mid-afternoon one. And then that gets to Inverness for 2:30. I said that earlier in the day, I believe. In the video, I'm confused. Too many numbers. And then Scrabster, there's one in the evening, so you can have a good day in Caithness, because the first one from Inverness is at 4:30 in the morning, and then 8:20, which gets there for 12, and the 4:30 one gets there for 7:51. And I'm not going to run through the Inverness times ones, but the last one back into Caithness, I'll show you that, is 18:39 from Inverness, which gets to Wick just before 10, which is actually quicker than the train, which leaves at 18:31. So if I do go into Inverness and I'm wanting to get a bus back a little bit later, I may be using it, you never know. And if I do use it, well, I will let you know on my channel. I'll just show you the map here on bus times then for a last little thing, and it's very similar to the Ember one. Ember? Not Emma. Ember one. So confused with all these modern dingle dangles. Whatever that is. But as you can see here, it's pretty simple and similar to the actual Ember's website. So, with that said, I hope you've enjoyed this little brief video explaining Ember's new service, the E6, into Caithness. And I'm sure the next video on it will be me actually giving it a try. So I'll sort of add booking the ticket, and then hopefully showing the driver my smartphone here with my ticket on. I presume it's some sort of like, well, QR code that they actually scan. So with that said, I'm going to book my ticket, because I'm doing the same joke as last time when I sarcastically said I'm getting booking now. That was a joke. So I'm going to head off, book my ticket right now, and I'll see you on board the Ember coach. Right, with that said, I will catch you on the next one. Bye!